Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in! Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Friday. Means we're brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Braxton Rizzuto and Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Little assist to Jordan Kitchens as well. Hopefully that work week's in the rear view mirror. If it's not, we'll get you to the finish line. Gonna be a chilly weekend here in South Louisiana. Not as chilly as it's gonna be in Shreveport or anywhere north of that, including Fayetteville, Arkansas, where LSU and Arkansas just got moved up 3.5 hours for tomorrow's tip-off from Bud Walton Arena. We will talk about that game at the bottom of hour number 2 with Andrew Hutchinson, best of Arkansas sports. Be Tigers and Hogs at 4 o'clock tomorrow from BWA. Jay Johnson met with the media for about 45 minutes earlier today. I listened to every word of it. I've already got a story up on LouisianaSports.net about what he had to say about William Schmidt and Maverick Rizzies. If you want to read that, you can do it. I'll tell you about it a little bit later on in the show. Preston Guy talking football. We got conference championship games to talk about in the National Football League. So plenty to do here on this Friday. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Let's start the way we start every day. That's with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
So, with LSU football, quarterback is obviously the most interesting piece to the puzzle next year because it's the most important piece. If you've got a good defense, some really good wideouts, solid running back, and no quarterback to function, well, you're not going to be very good. So quarterback is the most important thing. Levitt's health, whether or not Longstreet is ready to play, how much he plays, what Lane Kiffin's able to get out of that group in year one in his system. That's the most intriguing piece to the offensive puzzle. But I am maybe equally as fascinated with how wide receiver shakes out. If you're not following along at LouisianaSports.net, every day I'm coming up with a portal profile of one of the players that LSU got in the transfer portal. And it's a really short piece. It's pretty easy reading. It's not heavy on analytics. It's just, here's the situation. Here's what we know about the player. Here's how that player could fit into the offense and what my projection is for that player in 2026. It's easy reading. It's once a day, and I'm kind of going through them. And as I do that, I think I learn about each player that I write about. And wide receiver is just fascinating to me because I've never been in a situation with LSU football where you look up and there's one wide receiver left. Phillip Wright was it. I've never been in a situation where you've signed 9 transfer wide receivers. That's what they've done. They also signed 3 more high schoolers in December. So there are 13 wide receivers set to play spring football for LSU, and one of them wore purple and gold last year. So as I go through, it's just fun for me to think about how these pieces are going to fit together because there are not going to be enough passes airborne and snaps in SEC games for 13 guys to contribute. There just aren't. So what do you have and what might be the contribution from each player? And I kind of broke it down. A lot of these guys are very, very similar in terms of their build, and a lot of them are very, very fast. Most of these players are between 6 feet tall and 6'2" and run pretty well. The outliers for that are Jackson Harris from Hawaii. He's 6'3". And then you've got the Troy transfer in Roman Mothershed, who's 6'4". Those are the only 2 guys on this list that I would classify as rangy, long targets. Maybe Josh Jackson from McNeese, maybe Trey Brown from Old Dominion. Those guys are probably closer to 6'1", 6'2". But like, if you turn on the tape and you look at the way these guys are listed, Jackson Harris from Hawaii and Roman Mothershed from Troy are really the only 2 guys who are tall and rangy. Then you've got 2 guys who I would refer to as like undersized, who are on the short side for wide receivers. That is, and they're both SEC guys, Trey Wilson from Florida, who's 5'10". He's listed at 5'10 and a half. Looks generous on tape. And then Winnie Watkins, who Ole Miss brought in last year, he played his freshman year in Oxford for Lane Kiffin. He comes over. He's listed at 5'9". They're quote-unquote short. The rest of the guys kind of all fit the same mold. And as I assess the 13 wide receivers that LSU has, I look at two guys a little bit differently than the other 11. I look at Jace Brown from Kansas State and Trey Wilson from Florida a little bit differently. They have both produced at a very high level in the power conferences. Jace Brown set the sophomore receiving record at Kansas State. He was the fastest Kansas State player ever to 1,000 yards. He's 6'1". He runs really good routes. He hits home runs. He's a big play threat. He averaged 17 yards a catch. Like, he's a dude. He's going to play. Trey Wilson was a 5-star recruit, was a top 25 player in the country, and was a freshman All-American at Florida. Now, he's been hurt for 2 years, and if he gets hurt again this year, he won't produce. But if he's out there, he's electrifying. He is fast. He is smooth. He's got good hands. You can use him in the jet sweep game. He can stretch the field. Those two guys, to me, are the most proven commodities in this wide receiver group. I think they are very likely to be very impactful this fall. My opinion. The rest of the guys, I can kind of put them into a hopper and spin that thing and pull them out. Now, some guys have better pedigrees than other. Trey Brown, really productive at Old Dominion. Winnie Watkins played for Lane Kiffin already. Like, those are chips in your quiver. I know that the staff really likes Roman Mothershed from Troy. He's the tallest of the group. He's 6'4". He would provide something they don't otherwise have. That's something for you to work off of. But it's really kind of, what's your flavor? And I got to this segment because this morning I wrote a piece for LouisianaSports.net, a portal profile, on Tyreek Holloway. There's a decent chance if you're driving around Baton Rouge at 1 o'clock on a Friday, you don't even know who that is. Unless you really are following this transfer portal day by day, you probably don't know who that is. I think most of you know who Sam Levitt is, all of you. I think if I told you, hey, what about this Seton guy? You probably know what's going on there. But I don't think you can rattle off 41 names with pedigree and where they come from and what position they play and what their stats were last year. Like, that's my job. And that's why I write these portal profile pieces, and that's why I talk about them on the air. But Tyreek Holloway caught my attention this morning. I have been a little bit dismissive of some of the FCS ads that LSU has brought in. I think it's going to be tough for Jaquan Sprinkle to come from North Carolina Central and start on the SEC offensive line. I think that's tough. I think it's tough to ask a safety from Southern to come over and play at LSU. I wrote a portal profile on him yesterday. I think it might be tough for Josh Jackson, who was a nice player at McNeese at wide receiver, to break through a 13-man rotation at LSU. It's not impossible. Look, we saw Trinidad Chambliss this past year. Y'all all aware of what Trinidad Chambliss has become in the SEC? And that happens just about every year. What about Schrader at Missouri 2 years ago? Became an All-American from D2. It happens all the time. Isaac Teslaw was a D2 player. Went to Arkansas, played great, was a third-round pick. Now he's a starter for the Lions. I know these stories happen all the time. We mentioned the Saints have Herman Bushrod and Taron Armstead and Jari Evans that they found lower levels. But I'm a little bit more dismissive of those additions because it's just less likely that those guys blossom into stars at the next level, because most stars, the vast majority, are former 4- and 5-star recruits who develop into that, who become first-round picks. Like, that's the most likely path. Percentage-wise, far more 5 stars develop into stars than 3 stars. Now, there are more stars that are 3 stars because there are way more 3 stars. But percentage-wise, your pedigree generally gives a better indication of what your trajectory is going to be. So I dismiss some of these lower-level players. And I say all that to look at Tyreek Holloway, who I analyzed this morning, and I went, he's got a chance. Like, Lane Kiffin and Billy Glasscock really trust their evaluation ability. And when I look at Tyreek Holloway, he's played for 2 different D2 schools. He started at one I've never heard of in North Carolina, Chowton. And then he went to West Florida, which I have heard of. And when you turn on the tape, which is limited, but you can see it, 75-yard touchdown as a freshman, 98-yard touchdown over the middle of the field, outrunning the entire secondary as a sophomore. A propensity to make big plays, obvious speed on tape. And I know that speed at West Florida against D2 secondary players is not the same as outrunning Texas A&M secondary. I get it. Trust me. Nobody gets it more than me. Me and Hester used to battle about this all the time. And he's got better perspective on it than me, but I'll still take my 5-star army of guys that were 5 stars and Under Armour All-Americans, and you can take all the 2 and 3 stars that play hard, and I'm probably going to beat you more often than not. But I do admit that there are a lot of guys who slip through the cracks, who show up and turn heads. And I'm not guaranteeing Tyreek Holloway is a great player. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he didn't make a single catch at LSU and transferred out. Wouldn't surprise me at all. It also wouldn't surprise me, based on what I saw on tape, that this 6-foot receiver from West Florida who's really fast gets into Lane Kiffin's offense and starts to make some big plays. I'd be stunned if Jaquan Sprinkle starts for LSU at right guard. Stunned. I'd be stunned if Josh Jackson from McNeese becomes LSU's number 1 wide receiver this year. I'm not ruling out a significant role for Tyreek Holloway. It's just a gut feeling that I have based on watching the tape and seeing what Lane Kiffin prioritizes in wide receivers. It's obvious when you look at the ads they've made, most of these guys are 6 feet tall and run like deers. Deer, I guess. Don't need to put an S on that. That's something he prioritizes because Lane Kiffin knows that he can put pressure on defenses, create indecision in secondaries, and then exploit it with speed. That's what he wants to do. And I just feel like Tyreek Holloway has a chance to fit that mold. Just something to think about. We'll talk a lot more as spring football comes and what we see at practice, and I fully admit that I'm not qualified, nor is really anybody, to look at this group of 13 guys and go, okay, this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, this is number 4, that guy's not going to help, that guy's not going to, before they ever take a snap in spring practice. Like, no one's qualified for that. We don't know. Half these guys aren't on campus yet. But I'm filing Tyreek Holloway away to talk about later because I just am intrigued with his skill set in that offense. Just kind of the way I feel. We'll see. Want to read more about him, you can over at LouisianaSports.net. Our Friday show is brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Take a time out, talk with Preston Guy from TigerBait.com coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. If you're looking for a residential loan, want to buy that home you've always been dreaming of buying, First American Bank and Trust, happy to help you. If you're a business looking for that commercial loan, First American Bank and Trust. Why would you work with First American Bank and Trust? Well, first of all, they've been doing it for 116 years. That's one reason. Second of all, they've got roots here in Southeast Louisiana. This is where they do business. 25 locations throughout our area. And the people that work in those banks, the people that make decisions at First American Bank and Trust, are part of your community. When you call and you're getting approval for that loan, you want somebody that you go to church with making that decision. You want somebody who your kids go to school with and play ball with to make those decisions. You want somebody that you see around town to make those decisions. That's what you get at First American Bank and Trust. And if you're saying, well, is this like a mom and pop shop? No. They have 25 locations. They got the capabilities to help you out with that loan. So whether it's a residential, whether it's commercial, if it's here in Southeast Louisiana, it needs to be with First American Bank and Trust. Stop in and say hello. Probably going to see somebody you know in the branch. It's First American Bank and Trust.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgout.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp.
Friday shows brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Go see them on Government between Foster and Jefferson. That whole menu's online at corksfishandshrimp.com. Preston Guy, tigerbait.com with us on Fridays. Preston, how you doing?
Hunt, how's it going? Things are finally starting to slow down, but maybe one more firework to go.
Who's playing left tackle for LSU next year?
Well, it depends on if they can find $3 million or not, don't you think?
Yeah, well, they haven't had trouble finding $3 million whenever they've needed elsewhere, so I have no problem suggesting they'll probably find it this time if they need it.
Yeah, well, and from what I'm understanding, we're, of course, referring to Jordan Seaton, the talented left tackle from Colorado who's going to be plug-in first-round pick. At this point, and look, from everything I'm hearing, it looks like LSU and him and his recruitment, I should say, in general, are entering the final phases. But there's relationships with the uncle to negotiate here, and, you know, Seaton and how he feels about LSU, and LSU's pushing hard. And from what I understand, LSU has felt good about this for about 2 or 3 days, basically, has felt good about it. But anytime you feel good about a kid and it goes on that long before the trigger gets pulled, that always makes me a little nervous because, okay, you're feeling good. You think you're in a good spot. What's the holdup, right? And that makes me think that there's some serious conversations going on. And I would like to say LSU's in the greatest spot. I still might say LSU's the front runner, but the longer this goes on, the more nervous I get, the more I think about, is this leaning back in Oregon's direction? But I will still say LSU is in a good spot as of now.
So if Seaton comes, he's the left tackle, and we can just end the conversation there. If he does not, how do you feel their options are after this transfer portal cycle?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about asking someone to step up into that role, right? I mean, you feel good about Braylon Moore, right? But then your other 4 positions currently, you're talking about guys who have shown promise, but you don't necessarily know if they're ready for the big league. No, the Maryland offensive lineman, Aliou Ba, that's probably your most talented guy you're currently looking at, and I would assume he gets first look there. But then you're talking about other guys like Devin Harper from Ole Miss, Solomon Thomas, who took a red shirt last year. Is he ready to live up to his five-star billing? What about the interior offensive lineman out of Tennessee, William Satterwhite? Is he looking to be a backup center and take over after Braylon Moore leaves, or is that a guy who can bounce outside and get some immediate reps? The thing is about this offensive line, there's a lot of like Sean Tompkins out of Baylor. There's a lot of guys who show promise, but ultimately where you stand at right now, you're left with a lot more questions than answers the way it currently stands. I'm not saying there won't be answers eventually, and I do expect improvement, but just adding a stalwart left tackle, plug-and-play, first-round guy, that would make me feel a lot better.
How do you feel about Weston Davis?
Well, he improved toward the end of the year, but ultimately we're talking about a guy who we saw some of the worst offensive tackle play we've seen at LSU under him this last year. Now, I do believe that coaching and scheme can impact offensive line play, and hopefully that alone will be enough to improve. But I am nervous about it until I actually see it on the field and I see how he does in the system. I mean, the fact of the matter is LSU gave up a lot of 2-second sacks this year, and it doesn't matter what kind of quick ball you're calling. If you don't have 2 seconds, most plays are going to get disrupted. It really limits your offense, and that's why a lot of LSU's offense was this putrid bubble screen game that was so easy to stop last year because you couldn't buy 2 seconds last year, and part of that was Weston Davis and his struggles. So until further notice, until I go out there in spring camp and see what he looks like in this new system, I'm nervous about that.
Do you feel like he's a likely starter next year?
At this point in time, he's most likely your right tackle. That is your most likely right tackle. I'm not going to say that's the way things end, but the way things are looking currently.
All right, let's move things to the outside of the offense. I talked about wide receivers a lot in my first segment today. They went and got 9 out of the portal and signed 3 out of high school with just Phillip Wright coming back. How do you feel about the assembly of talent out wide?
I mean, they have gone after anybody and everybody they can. I mean, there's some talented guys, and one of the things I'm trying to work my way through is, okay, who are going to be your starters in this group, right? And I think immediately Trey Wilson out of Florida and Jace Brown out of Kansas State, those look like your number 1 and number 2 to me. And then Winnie Watkins, you would think he's going to be in that equation as well, having experience in the system and done some good things. And then there's a lot of other receivers that, I wouldn't be surprised to see them go out there and get some reps, like Jackson Harris out of out of Hawaii. That's a guy who's been a real deep threat guy. So I'm just, again, until we go out there and see them and see how they compete together, I mean, guys like Malik Elzy from Illinois, how does he factor in this? We'll just have to see, but that would be my best guess. At your first 3 would be Trey Wilson, Jace Brown, and Winnie Watkins.
Big picture, how do you think LSU's offense looks in the fall? There's just so many variables that we don't know about. I'm curious what your thought is this far out.
Yeah, let's put it. I think they'll score 25 points at some point during the regular season against the FBS opponent. But I mean, this is Lane Kiffin we're talking about, and what offense for Lane Kiffin has ever been putrid, right? I mean, you're good on that side of the ball. Not to mention, you bring in your offensive staff from Ole Miss, top portal quarterback. I mean, I think you're good to go at basically. I mean, tight end, you've got dynamic weapons there. Receiver, you've got plenty of weapons. Hopefully 3 stand out, and they can make it work. And running back, you're in a good spot. The only thing I'm really questionable about is the offensive line, and of course that is the foundation for which, as we saw last year, your entire offense does run. I have a sneaky feeling, though, this is going to be a really good offense. They're going to move the ball well. Maybe they have I think they will find guys who step up and are good offensive linemen in this group. After all, I mean, who really does have 5 proven bona fide first-round draft picks on their offensive line? The answer is nobody. So almost every team is relying on at least a guy or two who has shown promise to step up, and LSU is going to be looking for 3 or 4 of those. I think the offense is going to look good. I think they're going to move the ball well. And not to mention, this is a coaching staff. They're familiar. They understand what it's like to be agents of chaos in the portal. They've been doing it for 4 years at Ole Miss. So I think they're going to iron through a lot of these problems.
Preston Guy, TigerBait.com is our guest. You see ESPN comes out with a poll way too early, 15th for LSU. How do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, I think that this is a year where LSU is going to be all over the place with voters and where they end up. I mean, there's certain people who look at this portal class and they automatically are believers. I've seen a lot of people put LSU in the top 10. I think there's going to be other people who are like, look, man, I mean, I've never seen any of these players play together. We saw during Brian Kelly's first year when they had to put a bunch of transfers and a bunch of players together for the first time how disorganized it looked. Well, that was with 15 guys from the portal and a new coaching staff, right? We're talking about a new coaching staff, defensive coaching staff for training, so there's going to be more continuity on that side of the ball. But we're going to see, I mean, they're looking at what, 41, 42 transfers compared to 15? There could be a lot more of that chaos, I'm just saying. So I think what my opinion on the team is irrelevant. I think that you're going to see just people there's going to be voters with the AP poll who have LSU in the top 5. There's going to be voters who have LSU outside of the top 25. That is what my prediction is. It's just going to be a wide-ranging view of opinions on LSU coming into this season.
Last one here, Preston. 41, 42 ads, call it whatever you'd like at this point. What do you think Lane Kiffin, if he had it his way in this system, 0 is not realistic. What do you think he would like to target annually as far as portal ads?
Yeah, I know for a fact that this staff, they don't really want to invest big dollars in the high school kids. They want to see people, if you have a kid who's been going out there against 5A high schools versus people who've been playing against, Division I colleges, which experience is more valuable? They want to see players and invest at that level. I have a sneaky feeling that this is going to be more like a 2020 type situation for LSU if they have their way, where they are looking for 20 high school kids and 20 portal additions. I think that is going to be, what they go for. And obviously, that's going to vary greatly based on how many players went pro, how many players went in the portal, all that jazz. But 2020 would be my guess.
Preston, have a great weekend. We appreciate it, man.
All right, talk to you soon.
Preston Guy, TigerBait.com with us on Fridays. Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. We'll come back, set the stage for Sunday in the National Football League. We'll have our Super Bowl matchup by the end of the evening. We'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Told you about First American Bank and Trust there in that last read. They've been at it since 1910. Fabry Chevrolet GMC has been at it since October 1st. So a little bit of a different deal, but it's not the first time around the block for the Fabry family. You know that. They've been in this town making people happy, finding people the car that they are looking for for 35 years. 35 years, 3.5 decades. So you get a great customer service. You know that you get wonderful service after the sale. You know it's a pleasant buying experience over there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. So whether you're in the market for a certified pre-owned vehicle, for a new vehicle, they've got them at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Every car that is on the lot is on the website, FabryChevrolet.com. So if you want to check out their selection of Tahoes and Suburbans, you can do it. You want to see what the Silverado selection looks like, you can do it. How about a Yukon or Denali on the GMC side? You can check all that out at FabryChevrolet.com. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Make that short drive over there and see them, or check it out at FabryChevrolet.com. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
You're jonesing for a little LSU baseball. I've got a story up on William Schmidt and Maverick Rizzi based on some of the things Jay Johnson had to say earlier today. I'll talk about that a little bit at 2 o'clock. It was about 45 minutes on just about everybody on the roster, so it was a lot to get to. I'll have more content on LouisianaSports.net moving forward about what he had to say and some of my thoughts on the team and his thoughts on the team. We'll do a little bit of that at 2 o'clock. But if you want to read some of the things on Schmidt and Rizzi, which I think are two just vital pieces to this team, you can do that for free on LouisianaSports.net right now. And we'll get to NFL. But before that, let's talk about Lifetime Roofing. Let's not. Let's talk about Marucci, because that's what's next. Lifetime Roofing will be in hour 2. Marucci is an awesome place to go hang out and see one of the true gems in Baton Rouge. Talking about an operation that cranked up 22 years ago in a backyard shed. Fast forward to today, it's the official bat of Major League Baseball. And if you want to see where the official bat of Major League Baseball is made, well, book a tour. Go to MarucciSports.com, book a tour. Maybe just you, maybe you and your kids, maybe a youth baseball team, maybe a youth softball team, maybe a class, maybe a group of friends for a birthday party. Go check out Marucci and do a campus tour. You can also grab a bat, do a little swinging in the cage, trying to get that swing tuned up for the season to come. Well, you can't do that outside right now because it's going to be freezing cold and damp all weekend. Not inside the cages at Marucci. It's an awesome spot we've got here in Baton Rouge that's developed over the last 2 decades into truly a national brand. Go by and see them. Book that campus tour at MarucciSports.com/campus-tour. That's MarucciSports.com/campus-tour. All right, let's talk a little about the NFL. Championship Sunday coming up on Sunday. It'll start in the AFC, 2 o'clock on CBS. Patriots at the Broncos. Nope, not Brady and Manning. It's instead Drake May and Jarrett Stidham, who were slinging it around in this one. Jarrett Stidham is going to become the first quarterback since Roger Staubach in 1972 to make his first start of the season in the conference title game. It's a little bit surprising because injuries happen so often, but that's a long time. 1972 was a minute ago. Now, Drake May is on the other side of this deal, and I did not realize this. I've watched, but I guess I just am not paying attention that closely. He's fumbled 6 times in 2 playoff games. You do that on Sunday, you're in trouble. You've got to take better care of the ball than 6 fumbles in 2 playoff games. This is something that I thought about with our local knowledge of Sean Payton and what we know about Sean P. He's got a backup quarterback in there. Now, clearly, the first thing you want to do is run the ball, right? Obviously. Well, that's going to be easier said than done against a really tough Patriots front. But another thing you can get involved is the quick passing game involving the running back. And R.J. Harvey has been really good in the passing game for Denver this year. And I think back to recently Alvin Kamara in New Orleans. I think back to, of course, Pierre Thomas. I think back to Reggie Bush. Even Ingram to an extent. He used his running backs in the passing game extremely well. Pierre Thomas is one of the best screen backs we've seen. Kamara was great at it too, but that was I would say that was Pierre Thomas's specialty, was doing that. Now, I don't know if R.J. Harvey is that good at it, but we know that it's in Sean Payton's bag, and we know that he's got a week to get his quote-unquote young, I guess a better term would be inexperienced. Jarrett Stidham's not that young. His inexperienced quarterback, some easy throws, some easy yards, the ability to get his guys getting downhill with some space. And, clearly Mike Vrabel knows this too, but we just know how good Sean Payton is. I think that's going to be a big key to this game. Everybody, I think the public is going to be all over New England in this game because nobody thinks Jarrett Stidham can go out there and handle it. But the Broncos defense is really good. That crowd is probably underrated in the NFL. Denver's going to fill that place. It's going to be loud. It's going to be raucous. I got a good coach, a home crowd, a great defense, and I'm getting 5.5. That just seems too much. I would take the Broncos and the points in this game every time. That doesn't mean they're going to win, but how many of these playoff games have we seen come down to a kick, come down to overtime, come down to a 2-point conversion? 5.5's a lot for the 1 seed at home. I get that Bo Nix isn't playing. Bo Nix is not an MVP candidate. Bo Nix is a nice player. With time to prepare, with a great coach, the great defense, I think Stidham will be fine. I think they'll get R.J. Harvey involved. Give me the Broncos plus 5.5. It wouldn't surprise me if the Broncos won the game. That's where I am on this. So I'll take the Broncos plus 5.5. Might be worth a sprinkle on the money line, quite frankly. 5:30 on Fox. I was listening to my guy David Hellman on After Further Review yesterday. Hellman is a New Orleans native, LSU guy, hired me at the Reveille, worked covering LSU a little bit for ESPN, went on to work and cover the Cowboys, and has moved up the ladder with Fox and The Athletic and does some podcasting, some television stuff for them. And he's all over the NFL. And Hellman loves him some NFL football, always has. He was downright giddy talking to Matt about this game yesterday on After Further Review. He's like, this is, if you don't have a dog in the fight, obviously if your team is in the playoffs, that's as good as it gets, right? If you don't have a dog in the fight, this is as good as it gets. Division foes, great defenses, awesome environment, great coaches. This is as good as it gets. And they played 2 games in the regular season, and they were both phenomenal. And look at how similar they were. In Week 11, these 2 teams played, and they combined for 58 points. In Week 16, they played 57 points. In Week 11, 830 yards. In Week 16, 829 yards. They were separated by 1 point and 1 yard in the 2 matchups. That is as consistent as it gets, and you would expect that from these 2 teams. One of the things I thought was interesting in diving into the metrics on this game, the Rams average just under 9 yards in the air per attempt. It's the highest number in the NFL, 8.9 yards per air attempt. Seattle allows 4.7, half. That's best in the NFL. Seattle does not allow you to get the ball down the field. The Rams desperately want to get the ball down the field. Now, Stafford has had his success against this Seattle defense. But it's really good, and it's really tough to do. He's got as good a receiver as there is in the NFL, out there running the routes. They know what they're doing, and they're going to try. Like, they're not going to shy away from this at all. This is such a fascinating spot for Matt Stafford because if he can win 2 more games, he reaches a different stratosphere in the history of the NFL. You know, based on the era that he played in and how long he's played, that statistically he's going to stack up with almost everybody in terms of yards and touchdowns and starts and the whole deal. Not wins, because Detroit never won anything, but he threw for a ton. And he got his chance to spread his wings in L.A., and he cashed in a Super Bowl immediately. And they've been pretty good, but they finally got what a lot of people think is as good a team as there is in the NFL. If he can get back to another Super Bowl and win it, rarefied air. But he's got to go through Seattle on the road to do it. And maybe it's what I saw last week in that game against San Francisco. Maybe it's recency bias. I don't know. I just don't see anybody going into Seattle and winning. I just don't see that happening. Not in that environment, those weather conditions, and that defense. I realize the Rams just went to frigid Chicago and won. That Chicago team is not the Seattle team. That Chicago team won 8 games. They trailed under 2 minutes. 8. This is not that. This is probably the best team in the NFL. And I just feel like Seattle minus 2.5 is the play here at home. If this game was at SoFi, not that that would be a ridiculous home field advantage for the Rams. They don't really have that. I might lean the other way. But Seattle's crowd is worth a field goal at least, and I think they're better. That's where I am on this one. I like the Broncos at home, getting the 5.5. I like Seattle at home, laying the 5.5. Give me the 2 home games in these 2 games to get to the Super Bowl. I think we're looking at I really do think the Broncos can win the game. I think everyone's gonna doubt him because of Stidham. And he may throw up all over himself. He may throw 2 picks, and they may get beat by a really good New England team with a great coach. But I'll take the points for sure. I'm very confident Seattle wins this game. I would love to see Stafford try to win a Super Bowl. And I really, frankly, this is a pathetic thing that I don't really mean, a little bit of tongue-in-cheek. I don't really want to see Seattle's uniforms in the Super Bowl because they're very ugly. But they're really good at football, so I'll be watching very intently into that night game on Sunday. But I like the Broncos in Seattle in terms of the point spread. Maybe the Patriots win the game and don't cover, but I like Seattle to win for sure. So that's my look at Sunday's action in the National Football League. I want to remind you about my friends at Corks. CorksFishandShrimp.com is the website. They love to do catering. So if you want to get some food to your house this weekend, I know conditions aren't going to be super awesome late into Sunday. Want to make sure that you're not having to get out and about, so you want to pick something up and have it at the house. Corks is happy to do that. They love it. They're great at it too. Big trays, that jumbo fried Gulf shrimp. Big trays, that crispy fried catfish. The shoestring fries. They got your honey butter rolls as well. You want to get the beignet bites? They got them. Hush puppies. Fantastic stuff over there at Corks. Check out the menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. And think about them for your next birthday party, next lunch and learn at the office, birthday party, whatever the case may be. Corks is happy to help you out with your catering needs. And if you just want to get a late lunch on this Friday, go grab a po' boy. Delicious shrimp po' boys over at Corks. Government between Foster and Jefferson, corksfishandshrimp.com. Take a time out. When we come back, I saw something like 15 minutes before I went on the air. It could be huge for LSU baseball. We'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. Dreary Friday afternoon, dreary Saturday afternoon. No time to go play golf because the weather just not going to allow for it. Well, it does at Swing Easy Golf Club. If you want to get by and play 18 holes at Pebble Beach on the simulator, go do it. The odds are a lot of you that are driving around and never hit on a simulator. It's remarkably accurate. If you saw my stream a couple of months ago where I was hitting shots at the par 3 at Pebble Beach, it could tell when I was hitting the good golf ball that was spinning and it would suck back. It could tell when I was hitting the not-so-good golf ball that bounded out like a stone. That's the technology you're dealing with. It's very, very accurate. Now, it's not the exact same as playing an outdoor round of golf, but it's a different experience, and it's a lot of fun. I love it. So if you want a tee time, it's not going to take 5 hours. It doesn't require you to put on a bunch of layers and jackets and go wait 5 hours to play golf in the cold. Swing Easy Golf Club is your option. They're on Segan at Perkins. Stop in, grab a tee time. Find them online at swingeasygcbr.com. Great place to hang out, grab a bucket of beers, grab some seltzers, turn the music on, turn some football on. It's Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories,
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Closing down hour number one, I'll have some notes from Jay Johnson's media availability. He talked for about 45 minutes today to the assembled local media. I've got a story up on LouisianaSports.net right now, but I'll go through some thoughts of what he had to say at the top of hour number two, so in about 12 minutes from now. We'll talk to Andrew Hutchinson, Best of Arkansas Sports, about LSU and Arkansas on the hardwood coming up at 2:30, so in about 45 minutes. That game, by the way, has been moved time-wise. It was at 7:30 on the SEC Network. They have bumped it down to 4 o'clock on the SEC Network for LSU and Arkansas so that LSU can more safely get home with that ridiculous cold front that's about to blow through the entire center into the eastern part of the United States. I saw something yesterday that between the top portion of North Dakota and the bottom peninsula of Florida, there was like a 140-degree difference in feel-like temperature. It was like -30 to like -30 to 110 or something, whatever. It's a lot of differentiating temperatures around the country. Hopefully it stays reasonably warm around here in Baton Rouge. I know that's not the case up in North Louisiana. But let's get to this finishing the hour. I talked about this and teased at the end of last segment. Joe Doyle has written for various baseball publications over the years, done some scouting on the high school ranks, somebody that I follow pretty closely when draft time comes about. And he wrote this for Overslot today, and it really fascinated me. We all know that Major League Baseball is coming up on a new collective bargaining agreement. And everyone's just talking about the work stoppage because of the salary cap. And he thinks that one of the possible chips that may be dangled here, it's possible, this is not set in stone, I want to be very clear, but it's a possibility, is that Major League Baseball might adopt a system similar to the NBA and the NFL when regarding high school players. And that may mean that you can't sign with a pro team out of high school. The pro teams probably are just fine with some of these high schoolers spending their time on college's dime as opposed to the professional organization's dime when they're 18 and 19. They get to the big leagues more quickly. You don't have to pay for them when they're 18 and 19. You get a chance to more accurately scout them. Maybe you just say, well, we've already cut the draft down from 40 rounds to 20 rounds. We're already drafting more kids from college than we are from high school at the top. And kids are now potentially going to stay in college a little bit longer because there's money there. We can just draft the ready-made guys. There are enough of them. We could do that. It might be a better investment of funds and conservation of funds. And I read that and I go, oh, you're going to let Jay Johnson recruit all the high school kids? You're going to let Jay Johnson get Connor Griffin? You're going to let Jay Johnson get Robbie Snelling? You're going to let Jay Johnson lure in the next Bryce Terang? Like, these guys are top 15 picks, top 20 picks in the draft. You're going to let LSU have those kids for a year or two? It may mean that you don't have to wait 3 years. They may take the 21-year requirement and say you got to complete 2 years. This is all hypothetical at this point. But Joe Doyle doesn't just make stuff up. He's got contacts in the baseball world, and everybody is gearing up for this CBA. So I already think there are some real advantages that LSU baseball has with the rules, where you've turned all of college baseball into a farm system for the SEC, and LSU can just go grab Skeens and grab Tommy White and grab Jacob Berry, and every year you can go get Danny Dickinson and Anthony Ianson, and every year you can go get these guys who are massive difference makers that would have otherwise played elsewhere and never would have come to LSU. Now you're going to let the best high school recruiter in the country get all the high school kids that he wants? I mean, they got torched by the draft in July. Torched. I mean, Jay Johnson said on the air here, he's like, yeah, that was a tough day for us. Because he spends a lot of time recruiting these kids. And then the MLB shows up with $2.5 million and they're gone. But if that's not possible, I will take my chances with Arkansas and Ole Miss and Texas and Vanderbilt and Florida playing by these rules too, because I think LSU will beat them at that too, as long as Jay Johnson's calling the shots. Now, you've got to make sure that you've got the financial opportunities here that everybody else has. Jay Johnson talked about that today, having to make sure that athletic departments have to determine kind of what it is they're going to be good at and allocate that revenue sharing towards that. And we know that LSU's baseball program deserves a sizable portion in revenue sharing. But if you get those numbers right and you understand the brand awareness that LSU has and the support from the donors that it has for the NIL opportunities and the partnership with Playfly and with Nike that Derek Curiel is a part of this year, and like all of a sudden you're telling me they can't go to the big leagues? They can't go to the minors? They have to make a pit stop in college for a year or two or three? Oh, buddy. that's going to be a game changer for LSU and the Southeastern Conference. You're now going to be able to build your roster not only with the best high school players from around the country, which LSU's in the mix for every year, but also the Anthony Ionsons of the world, also the Tommy Whites of the world, also the Riley Coopers and Thatcher Hurds and Gage Jumps and Luke Holmans of the world, the Danny Dickinsons. That would be a remarkable thing to watch for LSU baseball. So again, this is not set in stone. This is not determined. This is a year and a half down the pike because they've got to figure out this CBA. It's going to take forever to negotiate. We're going to lose a big chunk of Major League Baseball next year. Big chunk. Because these owners are just not going to sit there and let the Dodgers do this. And I don't think the players are going to buckle on a salary cap. But if this is one of the side effects of the CBA when it gets signed, that high school players have to go to college, look out for Jay Johnson. Look out. All right, that's it for hour number 1 here on this Friday. We'll come back and talk some more baseball after national headlines with SportsCenter. It's right here on The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David DeVoe and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. You know, safety is a big issue in the bathroom, especially as folks age. If there is someone in your life that you love that's older that may want to stay home but could run into some hazardous situations in the bathroom, do what you can to mitigate against it. That risk is not able to be eliminated, but you can mitigate the risk. Non-slip floors. Handrails around slippery areas. Walk-in tub for convenience and comfort. Get that shower put in that's got a bench in it. These can mitigate the risk of catastrophic falls. Talk to David about it. They do this all the time. If you're thinking, it's just not a great time to pay for that right now, but we really need to look at it, there are financing options available, 0% up to 18 months if you qualify. The conversation doesn't cost anything. Sit down with David and discuss what he can do for you. It's One Bath and Closets. You can find them online at onebathandclosets.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays, a $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care, Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And for January only, save 15% up to $150 on restorative treatment. Schedule today at hooddentalcare.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Bank, and it is championship weekend in the NFL. The Super Bowl matchup set to be decided. First up on Sunday will be the Patriots and Broncos in Denver. New England has yet to win a playoff game in the Mile High City, and quarterback Drake May would love to have his team be the first on Sunday.
Oh, it'd be huge. I mean, just the AFC Championship chance to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, that'd be huge. You know, another road environment that's had success in the past. They've had success since Coach Payton has been there, and they have great players, and they got a great team. And
the Broncos, of course, will be without quarterback Bo Nix. And after the Broncos and Patriots do battle, will be division rivals in the NFC title game with the Seahawks hosting the Rams. Meanwhile, several teams are still looking for head coaches, among them the Buffalo Bills, who are reportedly interviewing former quarterback Phillip Rivers for the job. The Bills have also reportedly interviewed former Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel today. In baseball, according to ESPN's Jeff Passan, the White Sox have signed reliever Sir Anthony Dominguez to a 2-year deal. It's worth $20 million. Tonight in the NBA, it's a rematch of last year's finals with the Thunder hosting the Pacers. But it's been a tough year for Indiana at 10-35, Oklahoma City 37-8. College basketball tonight, number 3 Michigan hosts Ohio State.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Monday, I'll recap the conference championship games, plus the coaching carousel in my Upon Further Review at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Working towards the weekend. Last hour for us here. Have Andrew Hutchison, Best of Arkansas Sports, coming up in 30 minutes talking LSU and Arkansas. If you missed this earlier, that game was scheduled for a 7:30 tip-off at Bud Walton Arena tomorrow night. It will be at 4 o'clock instead. They moved it up 3.5 hours, trying to get LSU into Northwest Arkansas and out of Northwest Arkansas before that precipitation and freeze makes it really difficult on them logistically. So that's the plan. There have been a lot of moves in SEC basketball games. A&M moved their game. I know there's been a significant amount of activity trying to get these games in. I thought there was an outside possibility that they might say, hey, we're going to – these games that are obviously going to be affected, we'll just play those before everybody shows up at the SEC tournament, but that's not the most equitable way to do things, to take a home game away from some teams. So they're going to do it the best way they can, move things up a little bit. Hopefully LSU can get out after the game tomorrow. We'll talk about it with Andrew Hutchison coming up in 30 minutes. Jay Johnson met with the media earlier today, and he talked for like an hour, almost an hour. It's like 45 minutes of baseball talk. And I'm not going to play any sound. That we didn't have time to get that cut up. He finished up right bumping up against our show. But I was taking notes pretty vigorously to get a story written for LouisianaSports.net, which I did on William Schmidt and Maverick Rizzi. And I just want to hit some high points of things that he had to say. There was nothing newsworthy that he said. No injury he revealed or starting position he revealed, or there was nothing newsy. He just kind of talked about some of the players and some of the things that they're working on currently, and I thought some of it was very interesting. I'll start with Maverick Rizzi and William Schmidt, though, because I wrote about them at LouisianaSports.net. You can read that story for free on the homepage right now. Those two guys are going to be vital to what LSU turns into in 2026. I can't tell you where that role is. I can tell you what their ceiling is, but I don't know ultimately what they fall into. I know right now, if they had to go play a weekend this weekend, it's Friday right now, Friday, Saturday, Sunday this weekend, they could get by without those guys. Casey Evans can start game 1. Cooper Moore could start game 2. They could go to Cooper Williams in game 3. If they needed to get a save today, they could go to Zach Cowan, who's proven he could do that. They've got options. Devin Sheeran is a fireballing, tall right-hander that profiles similarly to Rizzy. They've got him. They've got options. So I say that not to disparage William Schmidt or Maverick Rizzy at all, but to suggest they're not going to be put into a position by force. They will earn their spot on this team. And what spot they earn, I think, is going to be indicative of just how good LSU is. I said this in the fall. I said this in December. And I'll say it again now, and you'll probably hear me say it in February and March. The ceiling on William Schmidt is significantly higher than Cooper Moore or Zach Cowan. It's significantly higher than Cooper Williams. Some of the other options in LSU's rotation, the ceiling for William Schmidt is way higher. Why is it higher? Because William Schmidt hit 99 miles an hour in the fall. William Schmidt's spin rate on his slider is as high as anybody in the Southeastern Conference. There's a reason at Catholic that teams looked at him and said we could potentially spend a first-round pick on this pitcher. And it was not because he was a proven SEC ace. You can't be when you're a senior in high school. It's the stuff. And you look at some of the outings that William Schmidt had last year. At Nichols, 4 innings, no hits, 8 strikeouts. He faced a North Dakota State team that made the regional. 3 2/3 innings, 7 strikeouts. It flashed. It's not unlike Cade Anderson at Southeastern as a freshman, at Rice as a freshman. But not unlike Cade Anderson, when given an opportunity in SEC play, William Schmidt did not perform well. Look at the stat line. 2 innings, 11 walks. There's improvement that has to be made. And Jay Johnson talked today about the fact that William Schmidt probably at Catholic, while he was dominating kids, didn't think about his midweek bullpen being significant, didn't think about the post-start lift being significant. Because you can just overwhelm people. This is Jay Johnson's words, not me. But he said, he got to sit back and learn. He got to understand why all that stuff is important. And you're seeing a different guy this year. Jay talked about his outing Schmitz yesterday, on Thursday of this week. Said it was great. Said last week's was great. And he's optimistic about William Schmidt could be this year. No doubt. And his ascent to potentially a number 2 starter, potentially an ace, quite frankly, would be massive. But he's got to be better than he was last year. And he knows that. He spent the offseason not pitching on Cape Cod, not pitching in the Northwoods League, not resting. He went and worked over the summer on being better. And the returns looked pretty good in the fall and apparently the last 2 weeks. I haven't seen the last 2 weeks, but apparently are pretty good. And Jay Johnson said he's going to be a huge part of what LSU does this year. That's a direct quote. Then Maverick Rizzy, same type of deal. Rizzy had his ups last year. You're talking about a guy who, as a true freshman, led the team in appearances. He pitched 3 times in the NCAA tournament, did not allow a run in any of those 3 appearances. And I didn't realize this until I went back and looked at the stats. Maverick Rizzy did not allow a home run in 24 2/3 innings last year. That's impressive. But on the flip side, when Maverick Rizzy went into SEC play, his ERA was 7. He threw 9 innings of SEC ball, so that's pretty easy. It's one game. He threw 9 innings of SEC ball. He gave up 12 hits and 9 walks. That's 21 base runners in 9 innings. So he didn't factor in heavily down the stretch as a guy they could trust. And everyone's going to draw comparisons. For Schmidt, it's to Cade Anderson, highly touted, Louisiana kid, draft risk, goes to LSU, midweek guy as a freshman, blossoms into an All-American, National Pitcher of the Year, most outstanding player in the College World Series as a sophomore. That's a comparison that people are going to make, whether or not it comes true. Anderson and Schmidt have a similar pedigree. And for Rizzy, the comparison's immediately going to be Chase Shores. 6'8", 6'9", 98-mile-an-hour fastball. What do you got? And Chase Shores struggled more than half of last year and then became LSU's ace reliever. And people look at Rizzy and go, okay, well, that should be you. And Jay Johnson talked today about Rizzy and said, look, this is a guy that has worked on his body in the offseason. Koki Riley from The Advocate asked about Rizzy's delivery. I didn't go out to the scrimmage yesterday. Koki did. He noticed something. He asked Jay Johnson about it. He said, were you out here yesterday? Yeah, he streamlined his delivery. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't speak to it. But Jay Johnson talked about it, said, yeah, he's throwing more strikes. It's more repeatable, and he's doing everything right. And if William Schmidt is your number 2 starter and Maverick Rizzy is your closer, you've gotten closer to the ceiling of the 2026 LSU team. There are other options. LSU can win the SEC and win a regional and go to Omaha and compete for whatever they want if William Schmidt and Maverick Rizzy are the same guys they were last year, because they've got that much depth where someone else will step up. Like, it can happen. But the guy that steps up is probably not going to be as talented as those two. So you've got an insurance policy, and like I said to start this segment off, you're not asking him to do something immediately now or the team buckles. And that can happen a lot of different places. Not at LSU when Jay Johnson puts the roster together. But their talent level is such that they're the quickest ticket to an elite pitching staff because of their stuff. Both can throw 98. Both can spin the ball. Both have a year under their belt. And like I've written and said, sophomores are veterans in college baseball. Cade Anderson, 2 years. Derek Curiel, 2 years. Griffin Herring, 2 years. Like, going back sometime, like Kevin Gausman, 2 years. That's all you get. So you should be ready to go when you're a sophomore. And I don't have a projection or prediction for you today, just an assertion that is backed up with what Jay Johnson had to say. And he said he was confident and he knew those two guys would be big pieces of what LSU is trying to do this year. And I think they are vital to what LSU is trying to get accomplished. You want the direct quotes, you can read about them at LouisianaSports.net. I've got a piece up on the front page right now talking about Schmidt and Rizzy, and I think they're just massive to what LSU is trying to do. I'll hit some other news and notes on LSU baseball. We'll get to LSU Arkansas hoops coming up in 15 minutes.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. FabryChevrolet.com is the website. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Make the short drive. Now, this weekend may not be the best weekend to do so. Tomorrow's going to be okay, so you can head on up there. But early next week, like I just got an email, my kid's school's going to be closed on Monday. So that's where we are there. That doesn't mean you can't car shop. Go to FabryChevrolet.com. The entire inventory is there at FabryChevrolet.com. So if you're looking for an SUV early in 2026, you want a Chevy Tahoe, you want a Chevy Suburban, you want a GMC Yukon, GMC Denali, go check out what they've got online. You can see pictures of the vehicles. You can see the great deals that they've got, all the features, bells and whistles, the pricing. It's all there at FabryChevrolet.com. And when it becomes that time, you want to take that short drive to St. Francisville, up there to Highway 61, you're going to have an unbelievable buying experience with the folks at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You know that because they've been at it for 35 years in this town. 3 different locations, 5 different brands. So proud to have Chevy and GMC under the Fabry family umbrella up there in St. Francisville on Highway 61. Check them out online at FabryChevrolet.com. FabryChevrolet.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me. Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades. But our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose. Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. The recipe brought to you right here from the seafood capital of the world, South Louisiana. Delicious jumbo fried shrimp, crispy, clean catfish, shoestring fries. They got it all over there at Corks. Drive on through Government between Foster and Jefferson, bringing you our Friday shows each and every week. All right, that was a deep dive on Schmidt and Rizzy. Some more just kind of news and notes that are a little bit more quick to move through. So the defense on the infield is something that Jay Johnson has taken a very close eye at. Trent Carraway's done a great job at third base, Oregon State transfer. Steven Milam's as good a defensive shortstop as there is in college baseball. Then you look at second base, and they've really been impressed with what Seth Dardar has brought to the fold here. Jay Johnson told the story that Dardar committed to LSU during the NCAA tournament. Kansas State had been eliminated in regional play, and he was in the transfer portal, and he was a Louisiana kid. He just wanted to go to LSU. That was really the only reason he was in the portal, was to go to LSU, and LSU called, and he committed. And Jay Johnson said, look, I know you can hit. You hit a home run off Cade Anderson. You hit a double that should have won the game off of Kason Evans. I know you can hit, but can you play defense? Work at it. And they put a plan together, and Seth Dardar went to work and has done a really nice job defensively at second base. I talked to you yesterday about Tanner Reeves defensively. I saw him on Wednesday of this week, and he mishandled a couple of balls in the infield, and that's something that plagued him last year. Braden Simpson is playing some first base. He's also played a little bit of third and second base. They've got to find a quality defender because it's a non-negotiable in LSU's program. You simply must be able to defend to play on the infield at LSU. And that's something that Seth Dardar's taken to heart. He has played some first base. He's played some third base. He's playing well at second base. So that's something that Jay Johnson feels good about. Cade Arambidi is the guy that I want to talk about. Jay Johnson said today that what he told Cade Arambidi and what he thought about for Cade Arambidi when he brought him into college was that eventually Cade Arambidi would be the best player in the program. That's what he thought. He thought that Kade Arambidi was the best high school catcher to reach campus last year, that they didn't need to rush him the way that Luis Hernandez was playing, that he got to play some in the midweek. He caught a couple of SEC games. By the end of the regular season, he was catching a lot of Anthony Hines starts. LSU was winning a lot of those games. And Kade Arambidi got his feet wet. Was it awesome all the time? No. Was he overmatched at times offensively? Maybe. But he got better defensively. He had some big swings, especially in midweek games, drove the ball out of the ballpark, hit some doubles. But the tools are something I tell you about all the time. I don't recall a toolsier LSU catcher that has gotten to campus than Kade Arambidi. And you're seeing some of that now. He led the team in hitting in the fall, and Jay Johnson said, he is one of the best players in our program right now, and that's a guy that they're very excited for the next 2 years to be manning the backstop. So he looks really good. The term that Jay Johnson used today was the game looks incredibly slow for him, which is a great, great sign for a freshman because the game looks really fast to freshmen, especially catchers. Tell you that every year. Talked about it yesterday with Omar Cerna. Talked about it last year with Kade Arambidi trying to catch these guys. He was doing a great job yesterday, or Wednesday, I guess I should say. That's not always the easiest adjustment. So great for Kade Arambidi the way that he's doing things. Gavin Guidry's name got brought up. Jay talked about how tough it must have been last year for Gavin Guidry in the year that was supposed to kind of be his year, right? Your junior year, third year. It's tough to be your year when you threw the last pitch of a national championship game. But he'd been such a key piece to what LSU did in 23 and 24. But now you kind of maybe get a bigger role in 25, and he was being looked at as a potential starter in the fall and preseason. Then he got hurt. And Jay Johnson said he was always on the top step of the dugout next to Jamie Tutko and Jay, always encouraging his team, always involved, and handled huge adversity really, really well. He pitched yesterday in an inter squad, apparently looked really good through a couple of innings, and they're going to need him a lot. And that goes back to what I was talking about with Smith and Rizzi. If they need Zach Cowan and Gavin Guidry to close the first 2 games of the season, they can do that. You don't have to send Rizzi out there to be that guy. You don't have to send Schmidt out there to be that guy. Guidry gives them that confidence, and he's been a great clubhouse guy for this team already. I want to continue to go through my notes here. What was next on the list? Cooper Moore, guy I want to talk about. Jay Johnson talked about Cooper Moore. Jay Johnson said he's going to be at the front of this thing. He's a guy that's going to throw a ton of innings. I was told in December that very clearly the first 2 guys in the rotation at that point were Kason Evans and Cooper Moore. They were the 2. Then you've got Cooper Williams, you got Cowan, you got Schmidt, you got some other guys down the line that potentially could jump into that. Marcos Paz was great yesterday throwing the ball. He's an immense talent. There are options, but that Kason Evans, Cooper Moore were 1 and 2. And Jay Johnson reiterated that today when he said he's going to be at the front end of this thing. So I would fully expect right now, as Jay said today, it's a lifetime between now and opening day. A lifetime of baseball. You got 2 weeks to iron everything out. But as of today, I would be stunned if Kason Evans doesn't pitch the first game and Cooper Moore doesn't pitch the second game. I think that's very likely. Could change. Could absolutely change. And I know that LSU feels really good about the possibility of Cooper Moore being a Sunday guy. They think his stuff, his pitching style, lots of strikes, veteran, innings eater, that would give him an advantage in game 3s over a lot of teams in the SEC. But right now I think he's probably the Saturday guy. And that goes back to the last segment where I was talking about William Schmidt and if he can move up and be your Saturday guy behind Evans, that just makes you all the more dynamic. You go Evans, Schmidt, Moore, you're better than most teams on Friday, you're better than most teams on Saturday, you're better than most teams on Sunday. That's the goal. Now, I've been doing this a fairly long time now. I've been covering LSU baseball since 2011. That's a fairly long time. 15 years, fair to say? It feels weird for me to say I've been doing something a long time, but I think it's reasonable to suggest now. They rarely get 3 guys that line up and do that 10 weeks in a row. It just rarely happens. Last year, Chase Shores was in the mix. 23, Riley Cooper was in the mix. You had Thatcher Hurd ping-ponging back and forth in 24. It rarely happens where you find a 1, a 2, and a 3. You build depth. When the postseason comes around, you just get outs where you can get them. But if they can get a 3, that really helps. And that's the shortest path to a 3, I think. So we'll see if that happens. Then the last thing, talking about Curiel moving to center field, this is not a demotion for Chris Stanfield. It's not even really a promotion for Derek Curiel. The thought process last year was, hey, we got Curiel here. He's a big talent. In the fall, it's very obvious the way he's swinging the bat, he's going to play, okay? So you understand he's going to play LSU, high expectations, big games, and he's going to be out there early and often. And he's probably going to hit in the top 4 or 5 in the lineup. So how can we make this easier for Derek Curiel? Well, we can put him in left field instead of center, lessen his defensive responsibility, allow someone else to be the alpha in the outfield, and him just to make the plays that are hit to him. Maybe that lessens his load a little bit. Jay Johnson compared it to playing Stephen Milam at second base while Braswell was the shortstop in 2024 because it just is an easier position to play. Milam's going to be out there. He's going to have to hit. Like, let's just let him play second. And then the next year as a sophomore, you put the defensive assignment on his plate, and he's ready to go. And Chris Stanfield didn't bat an eye at this. Chris Stanfield's going to play left field. I was out there on Wednesday. Chris Stanfield got 2 hits. I saw him hit twice, got 2 hits. He's going to be fine. But Curiel is going to be a Tiger for 1 more year. He's a draft-eligible sophomore, and he will be a first-round pick as a center fielder. And it's just better for him if scouts and organizations have seen him play center field. So they're going to go let him play center field. I don't think you're weakened at all in center. As Jay Johnson put it today, Derek Curiel is a center fielder. He was recruited to LSU as a center fielder. They just made his life a little easier as a freshman and let him play left field. So he's going to play center. Curiel goes to left. Brown and right. And as Jay Johnson said today, I've got 3 center fielders in the outfield, and they're all way better than they were 2 years ago. So should be a good defensive outfield. No demotions of any kind. No hard feelings of any kind. These guys shared an outfield last year in Omaha. They'll do it again this year. And they just want to do what's best to win. And for Derek Curiel, if you get a chance to make a few extra bucks because you prove you can play center field, that works too. So not anything of significant note there. As I mentioned, no breaking news today. I'll write some more about Cooper Moore. I'll practice some more. I'll write some more about this freshman class, fill in some roles on LouisianaSports.net. Going to do a feature on the second base spot and what that's going to look like. So plenty to come on this show and certainly on LouisianaSports.net as well. Lot going on over at the Boxes. They're in the thick of it now in the middle of preseason camp, and they're 3 weeks away from lacing them up and going to play some baseball. So very excited about that. Also excited to tell you about my friends at Lifetime Roofing. LifetimeRoofingLA.com is the website. You're looking for a lifetime workmanship warranty. A lifetime workmanship warranty. How about Lifetime Roofing? Because they give it to you. Started doing that January 1st. You just don't see that very often in the roofing game. They're happy to offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. They're also thrilled to be able to offer financing options for you. A big roof can be a sizable investment. Sometimes you just buy it retail. You're here to pay the full cost. You can do that through financing 0% up to 18 months. Sometimes you got a sizable deductible. You got a large home, large roof, 2% wind and hail deductible. That's something that can be significant. Well, you can finance that as well. They got a team there to walk you through the process. It's an awesome team. I have sat down with them, seen their gorgeous new facility over there just off College Drive. They are growing. They are a big part of this community, and they love to help people. And a new roof is something they can do to help you. And when they do it, they'll give you that lifetime workmanship warranty. So find them just off Highland Road or check them out at lifetimeroofingla.com. It's lifetimeroofingla.com. All right, LSU and Arkansas scheduled for a 7:30 tip-off tomorrow. Not so. Weather coming in, trying to get LSU out of Fayetteville, so they'll start things up at 4 o'clock from Bud Walton Arena. Andrew Hutchison, Best of Arkansas Sports, will be there. We'll talk to him about the weather and about the ball game next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com. Obviously, pretty pertinent at this point. Do you know what happens if your business loses power because there's a winter event and the power lines buckle and they're down for a week and a half, down for 2 weeks? What happens to your business? Do you know if you're covered? That's an important thing to get taken care of, not after the storm, before it. obviously. So do that now. Hopefully, Baton Rouge and Southeast Louisiana aren't going to deal with a significant event. We don't know yet, but hopefully not. But don't let the next one catch you off guard. Don't let that next hurricane catch you off guard. Make sure your property policy is written properly. If the only thing you know about your property policy is that it's the cheapest one that you got given to you at renewal, check it. Let the folks at the Howard Insurance Group check out your policy. Get a second pair of eyes on it. That's what they do. They're experts when it comes to coverage. Limits, exclusions, business interruption, deductibles. All these things are variable and can make a big difference to your bottom line of your business. So check out the Howard Insurance Group. Find them online at highlandig.com.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, ironworkers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
We got half an hour to go here. Our Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. LSU and Arkansas from Bud Walton Arena, 4 o'clock tomorrow, not 7:30 as originally forecast. Weather moving into northwest Arkansas, so they'll try to get the Tigers on home after LSU and Arkansas lock horns on the hardwood. Covering that one will be Andrew Hutcherson, best of Arkansas sports, giving us a little time here on this Friday. You staying warm up there?
I'm trying to. I just checked. I think it feels like 18 degrees outside, so I'm just going to stay inside for now.
That'll work. What do you know about what the next 24 hours hold for northwest Arkansas?
It's not going to be good. I'm sure as people, it would be the same down in Louisiana, but Arkansas does not have the infrastructure to handle the kind of weather we're supposed to get. I was listening to a local meteorologist this morning. I think the projections are in the 8 to 12 plus inches of snow for this area. It's been probably a decade since Arkansas or this area has gotten that much snow. And I've heard there could be some sleet mixed in with which means ice, and that's no good. I think South Arkansas is going to get hammered with ice. So really thinking about the folks down there. But I think up here we're going to avoid most of that. But it's I'm counting on my kids being out of school Monday and probably Tuesday as well before we're able to dig out of all of it.
Tough. It's a tough question to answer, but like, how do you think it affects the crowd on Saturday afternoon?
Oh, it's going to impact it for sure.
Yeah.
I remember back in 2010, Arkansas hosted Mississippi State for a midweek game right as a storm was moving through. I think it only brought like 6 inches of snow or whatever with some ice on the front end of it. And I was looking back at some old box scores, and it had an official crowd of 4,000. Now, that was obviously a team that was not as good as this team, so people weren't looking for excuses not to go probably. But I would imagine the roads are going to be not exactly easy to navigate because it's supposed to move in, I think, starting tonight around 6 o'clock and really snow heavy overnight. There might be a gap tomorrow, like late morning, early afternoon, where it doesn't snow. Where maybe they're able to clear the roads and stuff, but I think it's going to kick right back up. And I think moving it up to 4 o'clock is going to help, but I don't think it's going to be the typical Bud Walton atmosphere that everyone's come to expect.
So last year in year number 1 for John Calipari, you got a Sweet 16 and a heartbreaking finish there against Texas Tech, and they've played some pretty good basketball of late as well. What's the buzz there in Fayetteville about what this team could be?
I think there's buzz that this team could be, right there in contention for the SEC regular season title, something that Arkansas has not won since that 94 national championship season. Kind of crazy to think. And there's expectations for a deep postseason run. I mean, you think back to this time last year, they started the year 0-5 in SEC play. So 4-2 in SEC play sounds pretty good for Arkansas fans. Just one game out of first place right now, a third of the way through the slate. I think there's lots of reason to be excited about this team. I mean, Darius Acuff as a freshman. I mean, I think he's going to end up, being mentioned in the same breath as the John Walls and Derrick Roses of John Calipari past. He is that good, and then you throw in all the other complementary pieces that are on this team as well. There's so much talent, at least with the top 8 that they have constructed their roster. Is pretty good. So I think there's high expectations, and so far so good, especially at home. Getting away from home, it gets a little not as good, as we've seen with recent trips to Georgia and Auburn have been blowout losses. But if they can get that figured out, I don't see any reason they can't compete for that SEC regular season title, which comes with a good seed and good position to maybe make some noise in March.
So I want to talk about 2 things you just mentioned there. Darius Acuff is something we'll get to, but you also mentioned the blowout losses. They've also won in blowout fashions, and like they crushed Vanderbilt. So what is the difference between getting hammered at Georgia and laying the lumber to Vanderbilt?
Well, they got off to just an abysmal start at Georgia. I mean, you look at the final score. I think what they lost by 14 was the final score. Well, they fell behind like 19-3 to start the game. And then I think early in the second half, they fell down by like 20 or so. And it looked like it was going to be an absolute, bloodbath. But then they fought back and they actually tied the game with 4 minutes or so left, something like that. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, are they going to pull this off? And then they just ran out of gas and fell apart. But ultimately it came down to that horrible, horrible start. They were making lazy passes. They were not playing defense at all. They couldn't make shots. I mean, that Georgia game, Malik Thomas, the other stud freshman Arkansas has, I think I can't remember what his final line was, but it was like 3 of 17 from the floor, something like that. But I mean, he's a guy that is shooting 50% from 3-point range in SEC play, even with that game. So he had an off night that made it even worse. But against Vanderbilt, they came out absolutely on fire. They were doing the opposite of all that stuff. They were playing really hard defense, getting out in transition, running. They were cutting to the basket really hard. I noticed as a major key to their offensive success early. They did not do that. They were not as active against Georgia. So, yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a matter of just not doing it on the road. I think Cal has speculated maybe they get lackadaisical after big wins because, that was coming off the big win over South Carolina midweek. They blew them out by 30 something. And then they, obviously they the egg, then they refocused. They dominated Vanderbilt. Now it's a matter of can they refocus and bring that energy, especially everything we mentioned about the crowd maybe not being as what it could be against LSU on Saturday.
You mentioned Darius Acuff, and LSU fans, understandably, are not really locked into SEC basketball at the moment. They're wishing for Alex Box Stadium to open its doors pretty quickly here. So they probably are not too familiar. I am, and I've watched him, and he's a star. But tell us what you like about the young freshman's game.
He does it all. He's a scorer. He's averaging just under 20 points a game, but he's also got such great vision. It was weird the last game against Vanderbilt, as well as Arkansas played, he did not have an assist until there was about 14 minutes left in the second half. Now, he had several in the first half that, could have been assists where, his teammate just didn't finish it. But he makes so many good decisions, rarely makes bad decisions, except for that Georgia game. He made some really head-scratching decisions, but he just takes care of the ball. He can go get a bucket. He can go drive to the basket and finish. He's got a really good mid-range game, and he's also a really good three-point shooter as well. I'm looking at stats here. He's shooting 41% from deep on the season, and he gets to the free throw line too. He's got 82 free throw attempts. I think that's tops on the team. Yeah, so he does it all, and he plays really good defense as well. Can really get after the opposing team's point guard as well. He just looks like a kind of what you expect out of a John Calipari point guard. He's had so many good ones over the years. He's going to end up right there, up there with those guys.
The winner of every Arkansas SEC game has topped 85 points, whether it's the Hogs or their opponent twice. I realize that says a lot about your offense. What about Arkansas defensively?
That's probably the biggest question mark with this team right now. They're definitely more of an offensive-oriented team. They can get up and down the floor. Usually, their best offense is their defense when they're able to get out in transition. But the defense has had some hiccups where they have not been able to stop teams, particularly that Georgia game and the Auburn game. So that's probably the biggest question mark. I think they're sitting around like number 48 on Ken Pom and adjusted defensive efficiency. It's fluctuated. Earlier in the season, it was right around like 40 or so. Then it dropped down, I think, as low as like 73, a couple of weeks ago. So it's a little bit up and down. It's not as consistent as the offense has seemed to be this year. So that's probably the biggest concern about this team. If the defense, they're the road woes, but then also the lackadaisical defense at times.
Well, Andrew, y'all stay as warm as possible. Stay safe up there in Northwest Arkansas. No LSU Arkansas in baseball this year, but the Hogs do come to Baton Rouge for basketball a little bit later, so we'll run you down a little bit down the road. Thanks, man.
Sounds good. Anytime.
Andrew Hutchinson, best of Arkansas Sports, giving us a little LSU Arkansas preview. I wanted to get a thought on the weather there. It sounds brutal, and I'm interested to hear that they're not set up to handle big snowfall in Arkansas. I guess if it only happens once every 10 years, but that seems pretty far north. Like they're right next to Missouri up there in Fayetteville. They're right next to like Kansas and Nebraska. They get snow all the time up there, so I'm curious about that. This is a bad matchup for LSU tomorrow. LSU really struggles on the perimeter defensively, keeping teams out of the lane, and John Calipari offenses are purely built to space the floor and beat you off the bounce, and they've got guys that can do it. His point guard, Acuff, is a superstar. He is phenomenal. If you watch the game tomorrow at 4 o'clock, you'll notice quickly. He will be in the NBA quickly. He will be making plays in the NBA quickly. He shoots it well. He handles it extremely well. He finishes well at the rim. He's 6'3". He's the whole package as a college point guard. I'm not going to put him in the NBA All-Star game just yet, but in the SEC, he's as good as they come handling it. And LSU's got Deon Thomas back now, and how much he plays, we'll just have to see. But Arkansas is going to score a ton of points, And LSU's just the only way LSU stays in this game is if they go out there and score 90. And they've looked good at times on offense. You get the SMU offense that you played, okay. You get the first half offense you saw at times against Missouri, okay. You get Max McKinnon's 7 threes that we saw a couple times in the non-conference, okay. If Thomas is good enough to go get you 20 points and 11 assists, which he's capable of healthy, okay, we'll talk about it. But I don't anticipate LSU hanging in this one too long. The only thing you're catching on a break here is that Arkansas may have that place half full because of the weather so bad. So we'll see. I don't like the matchup. There is a manageable week to come for LSU. Next week, you've got Mississippi State at home and a trip to South Carolina. Those two teams are not good. So next week, on Monday and Tuesday, you will hear me say LSU must go 2-0 this week. They're not going to win on Saturday. If they do, I will sit right in this chair on Monday and tell you I was wrong, and I'm pumped. But they're not winning on Saturday. So we'll come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Ochsner's Eat Fit Alcohol-Free 440 Challenge. Looking for a fresh start? How about the Eat Fit Alcohol-Free Challenge? 40-day reset. Help you sleep better, boost your energy, make you feel your best. It's not about giving anything up forever. That's not what they're asking you to do. But how about just giving yourself a break, let yourself recharge a little bit? You can actually see the changes your body makes because they're going to give you access to pre- and post-challenge metrics like body composition, blood pressure, and some optional labs. People that have done this have reported clearer skin, better focus, brighter mood, better sleep, and often that happens within the first couple of weeks. So if you're looking to register, you can do so at alcoholfreefor40.com. You can also do it at home, but check them out online at alcoholfreefor40.com. That's the number 40. Alcoholfreefor40.com. Thanks to our friends at Ochsner.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays, a $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care, Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And for January only, save 15% up to $150 on restorative treatment. Schedule today at hooddentalcare.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith Schoenfegen and Associates, we know this and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Big shout out to our friends at Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp, crispy fried catfish, jumbo Gulf shrimp, those shoestring fries. Great stuff. All the sauces your heart could desire. They got your classics, the tartar sauce, the cocktail sauce, but the Cork sauce is the best. Get that on that fried shrimp. It's awesome. I want to put it on your po' boy as well. Get those fully dressed. If you're looking for a great po' boy in town, go check out Corks, government between Foster and Jefferson. Online, corksfishandshrimp.com. All right, Braxton Rizzuto's back there on the ones and twos. Let's see if he can handle it. We got some take it or leave it. Good start.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Just take it or leave it.
How are we feeling back there, Braxton?
Pretty good,
All
I'd
right,
say.
let's get it done. We got 4 minutes left in the show. We can make it.
All right, so first we got former NFL quarterback Phillip Rivers is interviewing for the Buffalo Bills head coaching vacancy on Friday, according to Adam Schefter. While Rivers has no NFL or collegiate coaching experience, he is the current head coach, however, at St. Michael Catholic High School in Fairhope, Alabama. Is Rivers actually landing a coaching gig? Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave that. I mean, if they think that firing Sean McDermott to hire Phillip Rivers is the best idea, like, I just have a hard time with that. Going from Fairhope 1A high school, wherever that is, to trying to beat Lamar Jackson, trying to beat Drake May, just that doesn't seem like the organization taking a step forward. I could be wrong. There have been NBA guys that have stepped right off the sideline right off the court onto the sideline and been great. That doesn't feel like a great idea to me. But what do I know?
I agree. All right, so 2, we got every time there is a new pope selected, the Seahawks have gone to the Super Bowl. That's happened for the past 2 popes. We just got a new pope, not sure his name, and the Seahawks are 1 away from going to the Super Bowl. You putting money on the Seahawks to reach the Super Bowl, maybe even win it all. Take it or leave it.
I'm not going to put any money on it. I'll leave it. I believe that Pope Leo is what we're looking for there. Chicago's own. I'm not a big fan of the new Pope. That has nothing to do with his thoughts on the Catholic faith or how great a man he is. He just grew up in Chicago, and he doesn't like the Cubs, and he likes the White Sox. And to me, that's bad judgment. That shows lack of intellectual ability. So I'm not a big fan of this new Pope. However, this trend is impressive, and if that's the case, some things just defy common sense and statistics. Like if the Seahawks do that the 3rd straight time, coincidentally, a Pope died. It's just crazy to me that the LSU has played in 4 championship games since 2003. And they've all been in New Orleans. That statistically is an impossibility almost.
I mean, yeah, those are some weird coincidences. I mean, Taylor told me that one, so you can talk to him about that.
I probably won't, but, you know.
All right, let's see. Last one. The current freshman class in college basketball is looking to be one of the best freshman classes ever, featuring star guard out of Kansas, Darren Peterson. Recent word about Darren is that he may be the most polished freshman guard ever. Currently, he's averaging 22 points per game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 42% from 3, and 50% field goal percentage.
Pretty
Take
good.
it or leave it.
I'll take it. That's pretty good. I mean, Bill Self gets some good players up there at
I'll
Kansas.
take it.
There are some really good freshmen. I'm looking back there at Jordan, who doesn't have a microphone in front of him, but which of these freshmen are the Pels going to draft for their first-round pick?
Nobody.
You going to grab one there at the top? I mean, your record's not very good, so you should be able to get one at the top of the draft, right?
Well, if we get rid of Zion Williamson before February 5th, we actually got some hope.
All right.
So that's my
February
plan.
5th. That's by my count, you got 7, and then you got 8. Yeah,
it's like 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
You're
All right.
flying out of here.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think anybody's trading for him. No first-round pick for the Pels. Best draft in decades. Pels got nothing. That's great. Got Derek Queen. He's pretty good. Got nothing else. Got a bad record. That's it for Take It or Leave It here on this Friday. For those, a little housekeeping for those who are checking in here. LSU and Arkansas moved from 7:30 tomorrow night to 4 o'clock from Fayetteville. You can listen to that on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. Pregame will be at 3:30. Chris Blair and John Brady on the call. So looking forward to that and seeing how it all shakes out. I said in the last segment, I don't anticipate much from LSU. I told you 2 weeks ago they were going to lose both games this week, and they are. They got to go 2-0 next week. So we'll talk about that when that time does come. I talked a lot about LSU's baseball team today. Did that at the end of hour number 1. Did that at the beginning of hour number 2 for the first 2 segments. So about 40 minutes of some baseball talk If that's what you're looking for, you can go find that on demand at the Hunt Palmer Show, wherever you find your podcasts, currently on YouTube as well. Our full shows are archived every single day. So if you're looking for a baseball fix, you can find that there at the Hunt Palmer Show. Opened the show today talking about LSU's wide receiver situation. I just never seen anything quite like this. They had one left. They signed 9 out of the portal, 3 out of high school. That brings the total to 13. And I just think it's a fascinating group. And there's one guy that I wrote about at LouisianaSports.net today, in Tyreek Holloway, that I'm just fascinated by as well. So if you want that and all your LSU football content, you can find that at Hunt on LSU on YouTube. Not a lot going on in Saints land right now, so no Saints coverage today, but always invite you all to check out that YouTube channel, Hunt on Saints. Weather's going to turn at some point this weekend. My kid's already out of school on Monday. So for everybody out there that is traveling, that does have plans this weekend, be safe, be careful, stay warm. We don't get a lot of these situations down here, and hopefully everything kind of drifts north of us. That's certainly what we're hoping here. But we'll be back Monday for another edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Matt is going to drive you home next on After Further Review. Again, everybody, safe and happy weekend. Hopefully the Tigers get something done in Fayetteville, and we'll see you Monday.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best.